Welcome, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we're uncovering 5 rare Monticello Jefferson nickels that could turn ordinary pocket change into serious cash. Stick around, you might already have one of these hidden treasures. Number 1. Have you ever heard the story hidden inside a simple nickel? A coin that might be sitting quietly in your change jar, yet secretly holding a fortune? Today, we dive deep into one of America's surprising treasures, the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel featuring the iconic Monticello. It all began in the busy year of 1971 at the Denver Mint. Millions of Jefferson nickels rolled off the presses, destined for everyday use. To the average eye, these coins seemed ordinary, just another piece of loose change jingling in pockets across the country. But tucked within this sea of nickels, a small number were anything but ordinary. The first thing collectors notice about the 1971 D. Monticello nickel is its sharp design. On the front, the portrait of Thomas Jefferson stares with a calm dignity. On the back, the elegant image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, stands proud. Yet, beyond this classic beauty, certain nickels from this year carry hidden secrets that make them incredibly valuable. Key features to look for include full, crisp details, especially on Monticello. The steps leading up to the building are crucial. A rare few nickels from 1971 have what's known as full steps, where every single step at the entrance of Monticello is fully struck and clearly visible without any breaks or mushiness. This is extremely hard to find, especially from the Denver Mint, which was notorious for weaker strikes during this period. But what truly sets the rarest 1971 D nickels apart are the unusual errors and striking anomalies. Some coins display doubling, known as a double die, where the design elements like the letters or Jefferson's features appear slightly overlapped or shadowed. Others may have die cracks, die clashes, or off-center strikes, giving them a distinct, almost surreal appearance. Each of these mistakes adds mystery, rarity, and of course, serious value. So how can you spot one of these hidden gems? Start with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Examine Jefferson's hair, the word liberty, and the date. Doubling often hides in these areas. Then flip the coin over. Study the steps at Monticello very carefully. If you can count at least 5 full steps, with no interruptions, you may just have something extraordinary. Look for clean, sharp details everywhere. Weak strikes are common for this year, so a fully detailed coin will stand out immediately. You might be wondering, why is this nickel, a simple 5-cent piece, so valuable? The answer lies in scarcity and condition. Most 1971 D nickels were poorly struck and circulated heavily. That means finding one in pristine condition, especially with full steps, is almost like finding a needle in a haystack. Combine that with an error like a double die or off-center strike, and you have a coin that collectors will fiercely compete to own. Before you go rushing to your coin jar, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Let me know in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to start looking a little closer at the coins they handle every day. And now, the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 1971 D nickels are worth only face value, those rare examples with full steps and in pristine condition have sold for amounts between $14,760 and over $60,000 at major auctions. That's right, a coin you could find for just 5 cents could turn into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So next time you spot a Jefferson nickel from 1971 with that little D mint mark, take a closer look. You never know, you might just be holding a hidden fortune. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? Maybe the next great find will be in your very own pocket. Number 2. Sometimes, it's the smallest details that hide the biggest treasures. Today, we're uncovering one of the most mysterious nickels in American coin history, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with a strange twist, the rare D mint mark appearing on the reverse side, near Monticello. A coin so rare, many collectors have spent decades hunting for just one. Let's start with a little background. By 1964, America was deep in the coin shortage crisis. People were hoarding silver coins, mint production was ramped up to historic levels, and the pressure on the U.S. mints, especially Denver, was enormous. In the rush, mistakes happened, and one of the most fascinating mistakes involves the humble Jefferson nickel. Normally, the Denver mint mark, that tiny D, appears to the right of Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, the front of the coin. But on an extremely rare few 1964 nickels, something unusual happened. The D mint mark somehow ended up on the reverse, near the base of Monticello. An error that wasn't supposed to exist, yet a few examples have been found, sparking major excitement among collectors. So what are the key features you should be looking for? First, check the obverse. If the D is missing or misplaced, that's already a clue. Then flip the coin to the reverse. Look carefully at the area beneath Monticello. A true 1964 reverse D nickel will show a distinct D mint mark placed close to the steps or base of the building. It's not hidden, but it's small and easily overlooked if you're not paying attention. Other important things to notice are the overall strike quality and surface condition. Many coins from 1964 suffered from poor production standards due to the massive mintage numbers. So finding a 1964 nickel with sharp details, especially on Monticello's steps and Jefferson's hair, is rare even without errors. Now combine that with the misplaced mint mark, and you have a powerhouse of rarity. What makes this coin so valuable is simple: extreme scarcity. The United States Mint quickly corrected the mistake, and hardly any of these error nickels were released into circulation. Most were melted down, discarded, or lost to time. That means that every surviving example today is a survivor of incredible odds, making it a true prize for collectors, but spotting one can be tricky. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is your best friend here. Examine the reverse of every 1964 Jefferson nickel you come across. Check near the bottom of Monticello. Sometimes, the mint mark might look faint or slightly blurred due to age or circulation, but if you see that little D tucked into the wrong side of the coin, you just might be holding something truly extraordinary. Here's a fun question to get you thinking. If you found a rare coin like this, would you keep it forever, or would you cash it in at auction? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm excited to see who would become a lifelong collector and who would take the prize. And now, for the part everyone loves, the value. While common 1964 Jefferson nickels are found by the handful, the rare reverse D examples in high-grade condition have sold for between $12,000 and an astonishing $68,000 at major auctions. That's life-changing money for a coin most people would barely notice. So remember, the next time you sift through your change or check an old coin collection, keep an eye out for the 1964 nickel with the D mint mark on the back. Your pocket change could be hiding a miracle. Thanks for watching. Keep searching, keep dreaming, and most of all, keep believing that the next great discovery might just be resting in the palm of your hand. Number 3. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes it's not just the oldest coins that hold the biggest secrets, it's the ones hiding in plain sight. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin millions of Americans have touched but very few have truly noticed: the 1975 D Jefferson nickel with Monticello on the reverse. A common pocket change? Think again, some of these coins are worth a small fortune. The year was 1975. The country was gearing up to celebrate its bicentennial, and the Denver Mint was hard at work producing coins for everyday use. Among the millions of Jefferson nickels struck that year, most seemed perfectly ordinary. But as every serious collector knows, it's often the small imperfections and overlooked details that can turn an ordinary coin into a hidden treasure. First, let's talk about the key features you should be looking for. On the front, you'll find the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, his gaze thoughtful and proud. The mint mark, D, just to the right of his portrait confirms it was struck in Denver. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's Grand Virginia home, stands with its timeless architecture, but not all 1975 D nickels are created equal. The most sought-after versions of this coin are the ones with an exceptional strike quality, especially showing what collectors call full steps. This means that on the reverse side, the steps leading up to Monticello are sharply struck, with all the lines fully visible and unbroken. Finding full steps on a 1975 D nickel is extremely rare because the Denver Mint had significant problems that year with worn dies and weak strikes. Now, what about the errors? Here's where things get exciting. Some 1975 D nickels exhibit incredible mint errors like doubled dies, where parts of the design, particularly the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or even parts of Monticello, show slight but distinct doubling. Others have die cracks or die clashes, where the design appears ghosted or stamped incorrectly. A few even feature off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck, leading to an unusual and highly valuable look. So, how can you spot one of these rare nickels? The first step is always close examination. Grab a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Inspect Jefferson's hair and the lettering around the coin. Look for doubling, which will look like a faint shadow or extra line next to the normal letters. Flip to the back and study Monticello's steps closely. If you can count at least 5 or 6 full steps, without any flattening or merging, you might be looking at a full steps rarity. And of course, any off-center strike or unusual line running through the coin could signal a major error. But why is the 1975 D nickel so valuable? It comes down to scarcity and condition. Coins from this era were struck for everyday commerce, not with collectors in mind. The mint was focused on quantity, not quality, meaning perfect examples with strong strikes are exceptionally hard to find. Add in an error or an unusual feature, and you have a coin that is fiercely desired by collectors across the country. Now, here's a question for you to think about. If you stumbled upon a rare 1975 D nickel in your collection today, would you hold onto it as a legacy, or would you auction it for top dollar? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your answer might even inspire someone else to check their pocket change a little more carefully. And now, for the moment everyone waits for, the potential value. While an ordinary 1975 D Jefferson nickel might only be worth its face value, rare examples with full steps, major errors, or near-perfect mint condition have been known to sell for amounts between $10,000 and over $64,000 at auction. Yes, a simple 5-cent coin could change your entire day, or even your life. So next time you see a 1975 D nickel gleaming in your pocket, don't just toss it aside. Give it a closer look. You might be holding a rare piece of American history, waiting for its story to be discovered. Thanks for joining me today. Keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, some treasures are small enough to fit right between your fingertips. Number 4. Imagine holding a tiny piece of American history right in the palm of your hand, a coin born during one of the most challenging times our country ever faced. Today, we're unlocking the incredible story behind the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin unlike almost any other, carrying secrets not just of value, but of a nation at war. The year was 1943. World War II raged across the globe. Every resource mattered, and even something as ordinary as a 5-cent coin played its part. Nickel, the metal itself, was essential for the war effort, used to make armor plating and critical military equipment. So the United States Mint made a bold change. For a brief period, the nickel we all know was struck with an entirely different composition, a mix of silver, copper, and manganese. That's right, the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel isn't just any coin. It's a Silver War nickel. And it carries an unmistakable mark of its unique role in history, the large P mint mark boldly placed right above Monticello on the reverse. For the first time ever, Philadelphia coins were given a mint mark, and it wasn't hidden. It was proudly displayed, making these nickels some of the easiest, yet most exciting, to spot if you know what to look for. Let's dive into the key features. First, the color. Unlike regular nickels, the 1943 P has a slightly duller, grayish appearance due to its silver content. Next, the massive mint mark above Monticello. It should be clear and distinct, a giant P that almost leaps off the coin. On the obverse, Jefferson's portrait still stands proud, but look carefully. On many well-preserved examples, the details in his hair, cheekbones, and jawline are sharp and beautiful, but there's even more. Hidden among these wartime nickels are rare errors that can multiply their value tremendously. Some 1943p nickels show doubled dies, where parts of the design, especially the words, "In God We Trust," or "Monticello," appear to have a shadow or extra outline. There are also striking errors like off-center strikes, repunched mint marks where the P looks doubled, and even die cracks that add fascinating character. Now, how can you spot one of these incredible nickels? Start by scanning the reverse of any 1943 nickel you come across. Look immediately above Monticello's dome. If you see a large P, you're looking at a war nickel, and you're already halfway there. Next, use a magnifying glass to inspect the finer details. Search for any doubling in the lettering, any unusual lines or cracks, or any signs that the mint mark might have been punched more than once. And pay close attention to the steps of Monticello. A coin with full steps, meaning clearly visible and separated steps, is even more desirable. Now, why is the 1943p Jefferson nickel so valuable today? It's a combination of its silver content, its wartime history, and its surprising scarcity in high-grade condition. Many of these coins were heavily circulated during the war and afterward. That means finding one in pristine, mint-state quality, especially with sharp details and no heavy wear, is a real challenge. Add an error or special feature, and you have a true treasure. Let's make it fun. Here's an engagement question for you. If you could own one wartime artifact, a rare coin, a piece of armor, or an old letter from the front lines, which would you choose? Share your answer in the comments below. I love hearing what part of history collectors and viewers like you connect with most. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value. While an average worn 1943p nickel might not catch many eyes, examples in stunning condition, with rare errors or full steps, have sold for jaw-dropping prices between $16,790 and over $140,000 at major auctions. A small piece of silver, barely bigger than a button, carrying the weight of a nation's history, and a life-changing price tag. So next time you're flipping through a handful of old coins, or maybe browsing a flea market table, keep an eagle eye out for that proud P above Monticello. Because in a world full of ordinary nickels, the 1943p Jefferson nickel is truly a piece of American treasure waiting to be discovered. Thanks for spending time today uncovering this incredible story with me. Stay curious, keep collecting, and always remember, history isn't just in the books. Sometimes, it's right there in your pocket. Number 5. Every so often, a coin from a seemingly ordinary year turns out to be anything but ordinary. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a coin that many people overlook, the 1990p Jefferson nickel. A small piece of American currency that, if you know what to look for, could be worth far more than just 5 cents. The year 1990 marked the dawn of a new decade. In the world of U.S. coinage, production was booming, with the Philadelphia Mint striking hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. But hidden among the flood of coins were a few rare and special pieces that continue to stir excitement among collectors to this day. Let's start with the key features. On the front of the 1990p Jefferson nickel, we see the classic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, a design that had already been in use for over 50 years. The letter P to the right of his bust shows that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. On the back, Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home, is proudly displayed with its elegant dome and classic architecture. But in a sea of ordinary coins, how do you find one that's truly special? What you want to look for are certain rare varieties and errors that make this coin extremely valuable. The most prized 1990p nickels are those struck with incredible detail, especially on Monticello's steps. Coins that show what collectors call full steps, where the staircase in front of Monticello has all 5 or 6 steps clearly defined, are much rarer than you might expect. These full steps coins are the cream of the crop. Now, let's talk about errors. Some 1990p nickels were struck with minor doubling, where parts of the lettering or even Monticello's design show a slight shadow effect. These are known as double die errors, and they can dramatically increase a coin's value. There are also examples with die cracks, small raised lines that occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to break. Some rare coins even have off-center strikes or misaligned dies, creating visually dramatic errors that collectors love. So, how can you spot one of these valuable 1990p nickels? First, examine the coin's reverse very carefully. Look closely at Monticello. If you can clearly see all the steps, without them blending together into one flat surface, you might have found a full steps variety. Use a jeweler's loupe or a strong magnifying glass to check for doubling in the words E pluribus unum or Monticello. And don't forget to inspect the obverse. Double die errors sometimes show up in the word Liberty or Jefferson's profile. But why is the 1990p Jefferson nickel valuable at all when millions were made? The answer is simple: rarity and condition. While the mint struck hundreds of millions of nickels, coins with perfect strikes, rare errors, or sharp full steps are incredibly scarce. Most coins were quickly bagged, shipped, and circulated, leading to dings, scratches, and weak strikes. Finding a 1990p nickel today that has survived in pristine condition with full steps is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, here's a question for you to think about. If you could only keep one rare coin you discovered, would you frame it and hang it on your wall or tuck it safely away in a vault for future generations? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear which side of history you choose. And now, for the part that collectors dream about, the value. A common circulated 1990p Jefferson nickel might not seem like much at first glance, but rare examples with full steps, flawless mint state condition, or striking mint errors have fetched prices ranging from $3,400 to well over $38,000 at major coin auctions. So the next time you're digging through your spare change, flipping through an old coin jar, or browsing at a flea market, take a second look at those 1990 nickels. Hidden among them could be a piece of American numismatic treasure, and it's waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover it. Thank you for spending time with me today. Stay curious, keep searching, and always remember, sometimes, the greatest treasures are found in the most unexpected places.